find my place. Are we ready, Jackie? Okay. Welcome to the May 14th public meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Glen Rock. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting was noticed in the Bergen Record and Star Ledger, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, posted on the borough website, and has remained continuously posted as per the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public, and a copy is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Jackie, please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Here.
Councilmember Gilbreath?
Here.
Councilmember Orlick?
Here.
Councilmember Connell?
Here.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Here.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Here.
Thank you. I'm going to ask that Council President Gilbreath lead us in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So before we begin, we have I have a few announcements before we get into the first proclamation. Tonight is our budget hearing, so you will have time to make public comment on that. Make sure my phone is off. First off, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude and also sympathy at the same time. I'm very well aware that a lot of people in our community and beyond were deeply affected by the horrific acts that took place October 7th, 19 months ago. And we are so very grateful that Eden Alexander was released this week. So to those who are affected, I just want them to know that personally, this has affected me very much, and I have been with you this whole time, and I want you to know I will continue to be with you until all loved ones are returned home. This Friday, New Jersey Transit is expected to have a suspension of service. So I had forwarded to our our web coordinator information. I was on a Zoom call with the governor's office about alternative options in case there is a transit strike. So that will be posted on our borough site hopefully by tomorrow, along with our social media. And I think that's all I have for now. Okay, so with that, we have a proclamation tonight in recognition of Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm going to ask that Council Member Orlick can read it off. Where are you, Joe? There you are.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I start reading, I just want to say how important, obviously, everyone's mental health is to all of us. We have been working on getting the Stigma-Free Committee back actively engaged to help do whatever we can to counter the stigma associated with mental health so that people can get the care and treatment that they need. And so I'm very glad both that we're working on that and to be able to start reading this proclamation tonight. In recognition of Mental Health Awareness Month 2025, whereas mental health is essential to overall health and well-being, and all people experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives and should feel comfortable in seeking help and support to manage these times. And
Whereas, like physical illness, mental illness is a medical condition that can be treated effectively through self-care, early identification, and early intervention. And with effective treatment, all individuals with mental illness can make progress toward recovery and lead full, productive lives. And
whereas mental illness affects 1 in 5 people in the United States, and the experience can be devastating for individuals and families with little knowledge of or access to mental health services. And
Whereas May is annually recognized throughout the nation as Mental Health Awareness Month, and
whereas the Borough of Glen Rock has declared itself a stigma-free zone and continues to support the Stigma-Free Initiative, and
Whereas stigma-free zones aim to inspire public interest and open dialogue about stigma, raise awareness of the diseases of mental illness, and create a culture in which residents who have the disease of mental illness feel free to seek treatment for the disease without fear of stigma, and
Whereas local resources are available to treat the disease of mental illness, so no one needs to suffer alone or feel hopeless. Now therefore be it resolved that the Borough of Glen Rock remains a stigma-free zone and recognizes the month of May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month. Jill, you had invited,
Yes, some members of the committee are here. If we can just get a picture of them accepting the proclamation.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh my gosh, huh? Should we all go down?
Picture, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Great.
Thank you all.
So at this time, we are going to go for our ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. May I please have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance number 1940?
I'll make that motion.
Teresa, and a second.
I'll second.
Amy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So at this time, if anyone here tonight has a comment that they would like to make with regards to an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, you may do so at this time. Go ahead, Rob. Come on up. Come up to the microphone. You know the drill.
Good evening. I'm Rob Seda. Is this on?
Is it?
Oh, there it goes.
green? No, it doesn't.
Rob Seda, 228 Hamilton
Pull it
Avenue.
up if you-
Okay, good?
Yeah.
All right. And thank you for allowing us to speak at this public hearing regarding the budget. And I just had a few other comments that I wanted to share in addition to what I was doing in the work session. And I totally understand how difficult it is to put together a budget. And I was a little disappointed that I didn't see,
Sorry to cut you off. The comment for this is strictly limited to the appropriation for the cap bank, which was that extra
okay.
1%.
I'm addressing the budget in general. I thought that was,
So that's next.
Oh.
So you want to hold that thought,
I'll hold that thought.
and then you can come up, you're first in line.
Okay, all right, thank you, sorry.
And I should thank Teresa, she was like, oh, I don't think that this is in regards to the cap bank. So does anyone else have a comment strictly with regard for the ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank? Seeing and hearing no one, can I have a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance number 1940?
I'll make that motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now may I please have a motion to introduce ordinance 1940 for final reading?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Teresa.
second.
Oh, jumped on that, Maureen. Go ahead, Jackie.
An ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. Be passed upon second and final reading, and that the Borough Clerk be and is hereby authorized and directed to advertise the same according to law by publishing the same by title in the Bergen Record.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Yes.
Councilmember Orley?
Yes.
Councilmember Call?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
Okay, so ordinance 1940 passes. Let's see what we have up next. Oh. Now, may I please have a motion to open the public hearing for the 2025 budget?
I'll make that motion.
Teresa, and a second.
I'll second.
Amy. Call the roll, oh, sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
And at this time, I'd like to invite Rob Seda to come up once again. And now this is the appropriate place, and I should have been more clear, and I apologize if it was a miscommunication.
Thank you, appreciate it. I think we're still on here.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, you know, I can appreciate how hard it is to do a budget and the kind of decisions that you have to make. And I totally, sincerely mean that it's not an easy job. That said, it's not an easy time. And, you know, we have... Oh, okay. You know, we have a lot of people in town who obviously are on fixed income and a lot of other limitations. So I was a little disappointed that we didn't get a change or some reduction from our meeting on April 9th. I was expecting to see something happen, but it didn't change. So I was a little disappointed on that. And so I don't think it was it's not a good outcome. It's an increase that exceeds inflation. Our services are the same. We didn't expand our base at all to justify an increase in tax. And so I think some tough decisions probably were not made. And I really go back to priorities. You know, we're lucky to live in a town that has high income residents. We live in high value properties. We're close proximity to New York City. So we have a lot more leeway than a lot of towns do. But we also do have a relatively large amount of people in town that, you know, they're living on fixed income. So we really have to keep that in mind. Final thought is that when I think of a budget, you know, for a town, I'm just thinking about what are the critical areas. You folks use critical services when you summarized your tax change on your cover letter, and you say critical services. Well, what are critical services? In my mind, you know, there's 3 areas of critical that pertain to the budget. You got health, you got safety, and you have education. Those are the 3 critical areas that we have to budget for. Education is taken care of by the Board of Ed, so we primarily work within the safety and the health areas as critical areas. Everything else, while not critical, it's important. So we need to prioritize what we want and need in our town after we take care of the critical areas. And that's where the tough decisions come in. We have to decide, you know, whether it's in the recreation area, whether it's even DPW or some of these other areas that are tough decisions. What is needed? And that's why I brought the issue up at the work session, is that, you know, we have to be thinking reasonably to make sure we're doing what's right for the town and right for the residents. So in my mind, you know, we're not wrapping our arms around the total picture here. You know, we're saying that everything is critical, so we can't do without. And that's common among a lot of high-end towns. You know, if the residents want it, or if some residents want it, they get it. So I think the whole attitude of the budgeting process needs It needs to change, because I don't think we're not heading in a direction that allows us to just, and I'm not going to say the word willy-nilly because that's not the right word to use. We heard that enough. But we do need to, think about what our priorities are and make some tough decisions. If we have to cut back on things if we're going to do some other things. It can't be an add-on. It has to be a zero base. So I just wanted to leave everybody with that thought. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to,
You're well over your 3 minutes, but keep
oh, okay.
No, keep on. Go ahead.
Can I just ask on what the situation is with Leonora and the CFO situation, or is that out of? Okay, I won't do that. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Elizabeth Card, 231 Hamilton Avenue. The auditor stated that there were cuts made to the budget. Can someone give me 3 things that were cut?
I cut money in the pool, I cut money in utilities, I cut money in a variety of other line items to get to a number where I felt that the budget was presentable to the council.
Okay, because I'm asking is because thankfully, and by the way, let me preface it by saying I know how hard it is to do a budget. I did it for 9 years, 8 years. It is hard. I mean, especially when you have to remember that salaries and benefits are the leading responsibility or cause. But when I had gotten, and you'll understand why I'm asking this, I sent 19 questions, and again, you were really super prompt, and I appreciate that. The presentations that you gave versus the line items, and I could be wrong, but don't think I am, they were equal. And then one of my questions was, it was appropriated, they asked for 3,200, but it was 4,000 that was appropriated. So that wasn't cut, that was actually an increase. Then there was another in the public safety that was cut 15,000. I didn't get a chance, but I'm just gonna say that's probably not where we should be cutting, is in our public safety area. But the presentations that were presented versus what was on the budget were the exact same, so that's why I'm asking. Well, but I asked you one of those questions, and you said they were like minor adjustments. Like minor adjustments to me is not cutting a budget, is not really cutting what's not needed. It's not really cutting an excessive amount.
What's an excessive amount?
Well, I'm going to follow up on Rob's question, not being an excessive amount, but you have in the replace your position, I believe it was around $180,000. That's not an excessive amount, but is that for one person or? Wait, my question, wait, let me finish my question. No, I am. Well, I'm responding to her. Okay, so Rob asked if you guys made a decision, and I believe, because we've spoken about it, is if you decided on 1 versus 2. If you have 2 people, you're gonna have to pay 2 health insurance plans. So if you have 1, which we all know that the job can be handled by 1 person, because thankfully it's been done very well for the last 20-something years by Lenora. How much, 24? 25, sorry, 25. How many?
Almost 50,000.
Almost 34 years.
Years?
I'm trying to make you feel younger.
Okay, wow.
All look like Lenore.
Okay, that's a little humbling. Okay, sorry. So an area that you could save on is 1 person responsible for the 2 positions, because then you're saving on a health benefits plan. That's what I'm talking about, an excessive amount. Not excessive in a negative tone, not at all. Just trying to see where we can go with that. And then the other thing is, I have to sit down with somebody to figure out all these nicely renovated homes. They're very nice. There's a ton of them around the house. I'd love to know how that gets put into the budget and figured into the budget? Because I know there's probably encumbrances and stuff like that, so, you don't have encumbrances? Okay, well,
I'm not sure I understand what the question is.
no, that's not a question, it's
She's
just
saying
more
the
of a
tax
statement,
base
like, I want to
should be
sit down with
greater.
someone because there's so many renovated houses, like, I know what I'm paying in taxes for my little shack. So it's just, I want to understand how a house that is being renovated and possibly can be paying upwards, I know what my neighbor is paying, which is almost twice what I'm paying. So I just want to understand how those large houses are now figuring into the budgets. So I'm going to make an appointment with you, just giving you a heads up. It won't be until the summer, though.
And I think that again, the value of new construction based on the assessor's certification to the county
Correct.
was $121,569.35. It's in the budget document, there's a document I'd be happy to forward you.
No, no.
He's really the best person to talk about. Frankly, no offense to anybody at the dais. The people that do it would really be able to help you.
All right, I'll email you for the information then. Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Seeing and hearing no one, can I please have a motion to close the public hearing on the 2025 budget?
I'll make that motion.
Teresa, and a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, we need the motion. Yeah, you need now I need a motion to introduce for adoption, the 2025 budget, and then I'm going to make Teresa read it.
I will make that motion.
Teresa, and a second.
I'll second.
Amy. All in favor?
Aye. You ready?
Go for it.
Be it resolved by council members of the Borough of Glen Rock, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that the 2025 municipal budget is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated in the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorization of the amount of $18,278,858.76 for municipal purposes, $123,636 Open Space Trust Fund levy, and $1,145,239.24 for minimum library levy. General revenue surplus anticipated, $2,350,000. Miscellaneous revenues anticipated, $3,764,168.68. Receipts from delinquent taxes, $294,000. Amount to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes, $18,278,858.76. Amount to be raised by taxation for minimum library levy, $1,145,239.24. Total revenues, $25,832,266.68. General appropriations within the caps, $16,630,109. Deferred charges and statutory expenditures municipal, $2,415,522. Excluded from caps. Operations, total operations excluded from caps, $2,840,635.68. Capital improvements, $100,000. Municipal debt services, $2,605,000. Deferred charges municipal, $41,000. Reserve for uncollected taxes, $1,200,000. Total appropriations, $25,832,266.68.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Yes.
Councilmember Orley.
Yes.
Councilmember Call.
I would like to make a statement. When this budget was introduced a month ago and the public had the opportunity to comment on it, I felt like we had the responsibility as a council to sit down and review the budget again and attempt to eliminate some more spending, to reduce our spending. And we did not take that opportunity, and I feel like it was a disservice to the residents. I repeatedly asked, I asked in our public work session, I sent multiple emails, and I was told that the budget discussion was closed and that once it was introduced, it would not be reopened or revised. So for that reason, I have to say no, because I feel like we could have done a little bit better, or we could have at least tried on behalf of the residents and the comments and suggestions that they submitted. Thank you.
Councilmember Rosansky.
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein.
I too will make a comment before sharing how I'm going to vote. Residents are struggling right now. A lot of people are struggling right now. Costs are going up. I'll tell you, my wife was laid off in September. We have struggled immensely with our finances. The idea that we can put another tax increase after years and years of tax increases without finding cuts that are common sense, it bothers me to no end. And I know that a great deal of work was done on trying to put together a common sense budget here. I don't think enough was done. And I'll echo what Beth said. I think that more work could have been done, should have been done. And in order to be a good steward of the money of our taxpayers, I see no choice but to vote no on this budget.
The 2025 budget has been adopted, 4-2. Moving on to the consent agenda.
All items listed are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Borough Council and will be approved by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on these items unless the council member so requested, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receiving filed letters, correspondence, reports, and approval of application of minutes. Resolution 1 is for payment of bills. Resolution 2 is for approval of minutes. Resolution 3 is authorizing disabled veterans exemption. Resolution 4 is to award the Green South Phase 2 bid. Resolution 5 is participating in the New Jersey College Credit Program. Resolution 6 is authorizing NJDOT municipal aid application. Resolution 7 is authorizing LTPF school safety application. Resolution 8 is authorizing safe routes to transit application. And Resolution 9 is appointing part-time seasonal recreation recycling person.
May I please have a motion to accept that consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
Call roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbreath?
Yes.
Councilmember Orlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Call?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
Now, we have 3 ordinances on for first reading this evening. The first up is ordinance number 1941. Please note, there is no public comment regarding these ordinances until the second reading. So tonight is just the motion to introduce, so it could be published in the paper. And then at the meeting, which will be, the date will be given in the ordinance, you can come at that time and give your opinion about your thoughts on that particular ordinance. So first up is an ordinance authorizing the execution of a corrective deed between the Borough of Glen Rock and the Village of Ridgewood with respect to Lot 5 in Block 46 and water main access and maintenance easements upon a portion of Lot 4 in Block 46 shown on the tax map of the Borough of Glen Rock pursuant to NJSA 40A 12-13. Section B1. May I please have a motion to introduce ordinance 1941 for first reading?
I'll make that motion.
Amy, and a second.
I'll second.
I think Teresa got it.
Be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Glen Rock that an ordinance authorizing the execution of a corrective deed between the Borough of Glen Rock and the Village of Ridgewood with respect to Lot 5 and Block 46 in water main access and maintenance easement upon a portion of Lot 4 and Block 46 as shown on the tax map of the Borough of Glen Rock pursuant to NJSA 48:12-13, Section B1. Heretofore introduced and does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 11, 2025 at 8 o'clock p.m. or sooner after as the matter can be reached at the municipal building in the Borough of Glen Rock. And that at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance in the Bergen Record according to law within notice of its introduction and passage on first reading and time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Yes.
Councilmember Orlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Cowell?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
So ordinance 1941 passes first reading. And to be more specific, this is with regards to an easement between Borough of Glen Rock and the Borough of Ridgewood for a plot of land between the Glen Rock Pool and where the fields begin, and that was due to, it is a utility easement. Nothing controversial. And next up, we have ordinance number 1942, first reading, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements. May I please have a motion to introduce ordinance 1942 for first reading?
I'll make that motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
Be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Glen Rock that the bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new, additional, replacement equipment and machinery, new information technology equipment, new communication and signal system equipment, new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment, in by and for the Borough of Glen Rock in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,824,800 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate various grants, Borough Open Space Trust Fund money, and library contribution, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriations, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Heretofore introduced and does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on May 28th, 2025 at 8 o'clock p.m. or sooner after as the matter can be reached at the municipal building in the Borough of Glen Rock. And that at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance in the Bergen Record according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading and a time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Yes.
Councilmember Orlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Cowell?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
All right, next up, I have ordinance number 1943, the last first reading. An ordinance by the mayor and council amending the Borough of Glen Rock Code of Ordinances to repeal Chapter 112 flood damage prevention and to adopt new Chapter 111 to adopt flood hazard maps. May I please have a motion to introduce ordinance 1943 for first reading?
I'll make that motion.
Beth, and a second?
I'll second.
Maureen.
Be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Glen Rock, an ordinance by the mayor and council amending Borough of Glen Rock Code to repeal Chapter 112, flood damage prevention, and to adopt a new Chapter 111 to adopt flood hazard map to designate a floodplain administrator and to provide for the severability and effective date. Heretofore introduced and does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 11, 2025 at 8 o'clock p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the municipal building in the Borough of Glen Rock. And that at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance in the Bergen Record according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading at the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Yes.
Councilmember Orley.
Yes.
Councilmember Call.
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky.
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein.
Yes.
Ordinance number 1943 passes for first reading. At this time, we will now open to public comment. Please note.
Don't we have final reading?
How come I didn't have that on mine? Give me yours. One more, just kidding. Final reading, okay, so now I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 1939, an ordinance supplementing, jeez. Oh,
Do you want
much
my
better,
glasses?
thank you. Supplementing Chapter 116 of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Glen Rock entitled Food Establishments to add a new Article 3 entitled Non-Reusable Plastic Food and Beverage Accessories. So I have a motion to open public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
So at this time, the public hearing is now open on ordinance number 1939. If anyone in the ordinance has a comment they would like to make directed specifically to this ordinance, you may do so at this time. Okay, seeing and hearing no one? Oh, come on up.
Hello, Rich Peterson, 16 Franklin Place, Glen Rock here. Based on the summary of what you just read, I have no idea what it means. Could you please explain what that means?
Sure. So this came via the, was it Board of Health or Environmental Commission?
Environmental Commission.
So this is going to give the option for anyone to bring, I can't read.
Do you want me to read it?
Amy, if you could speak to this, that'd be
Yeah.
excellent.
So this is an ordinance that was initiated by the Glen Rock Environmental Commission to urge our businesses, especially restaurants, to not give away with like to-go foods, those plastic utensils if people don't use them. So it's on a request basis rather than just having them thrown into the bags ordinarily. And that's basically primarily what the ordinance covers.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Condiments, straws, all that stuff.
Right, and thank you. It also includes condiments and straws, any of the extraneous things, unless they're asking, this ordinance asks that businesses request, that patrons request them from the businesses, rather than the businesses just giving them away normally.
Anybody else? And please keep in mind, this is no additional cost to the borough businesses. This is merely a function of,
It's actually a savings for them.
saying, I'm not going to throw in the extra stuff in your bag that you're just going to throw out when you get home. So seeing and hearing no one, may I please have a motion to close the public hearing? This is the floodplain, what's the number again?
1939.
1939, I apologize.
I'll make that motion.
Jill, and a second?
I'll second.
Aye.
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 All in favor?
I know, all in favor, thank you.
Good.
Can I please have a motion to introduce ordinance number 1939 for final reading?
I'll make that motion.
Teresa, and a second.
I'll second.
An ordinance supplementing Chapter 116 of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Glen Rock entitled Food Establishments to add a new Article 3 entitled Non-Reusable Plastic Food and Beverage Accessories. Be passed upon second and final reading, and that the Borough Clerk be and is hereby authorized and directed to advertise the same according to law by publishing the same by title in the Bergen Record.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Yes.
Councilmember Orley?
Yes.
Councilmember Call?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
Excellent. Ordinance number 1939 passes final reading. Now, are we sure there's no more ordinances? Pretty sure? Okay. So at this time, we will open to public comment. And with that, I will ask for a motion to open to public comment. It is now, oh God, I don't even know which glasses to put on. 8:49. You have 3 minutes, and please note, this is not the time for a back and forth. This is merely putting your opinions into the record. So may I please have a motion to open to public comment?
I'll make that motion.
Seth, and a second.
I second.
Boaz Cohen, 19 Ashton Place, Glenrock, New Jersey. I know it's in the agenda for the next council session, or the work session, but because of the stress and the events in a couple of days, I wanted to make the statement. So, the residents of Harold Drive, Franklin Place, Beekman Place, Andover Terrace, Chadwick Place are deeply disappointed with the acts of the sidewalk police and the enablement of neighbors reporting neighbors. How do we allow an unemployment resident to select which houses will be inspected? Note that the reporter did not include several of our neighbors and skipped several houses on their streets. Who certified that person to decide which houses should be inspected? If there's an equity under the Glenrock law, either every house in town should be subject to the same rules and inspected, or none should be. What will happen if someone just reports the houses of Jewish or immigrant houses? Would the council approve such an inspection? To be clear, our town has a widespread problem of uneven slabs, mainly caused by root trees that are the responsibility of the town. If the issue with the slabs is caused by the town's trees and the slabs are the property owner's responsibilities, then the town should pay us for the damage that the trees caused to our property. In the email from the DPW, the concern was that the town's insurance. If this is the town's insurance issue, then the town should fix the slabs. Again, especially since most of the issues are driven by the trees that are responsibility of the town and not the homeowners. If the slabs are the homeowner's responsibilities, then let us deal with this with our own insurance. Many of the slabs were marked based on a hair height rule, so women in high heels will not fall. That was the quote from the DPW. Where does it say that in the Glenrock ordinance? If this is the rule, then almost every house in Glenrock will fall now or in months because the earth keeps shattering. Just specifically, one slab that failed inspection was replaced last year and was approved by the town, and now it's not good. So just think about it. In 1 year, the slab is not good. If the town is advocating for residents to remove, all slabs, there are streets in the town without any sidewalks. Is this the direction that the town wants us to head to? Is that safer? By the way, the rule should also apply to the town itself. I walked around the municipal building, and I found I have pictures, 39 slabs that are broken or would fail the rule of the hair length. I'm sure the town doesn't want women with high heels fall near the town hall, so we should fix that as well. In reviewing Glenrock Bureau ordinance, we could not find any ordinance that allows for inspection following a resident's complaint. In fact, ordinance 188-28 requires that the council issue a motions for repair and not the inspector. On the DPW website, it says residents are encouraged to make sidewalk repairs and replacement as needed, but to ensure sidewalks are in good repair, they are inspected as part of the process for obtaining a CO, right? Mandatory on the sale of any property. And note that the DPW conduct inspections of slabs following complaints. To conclude, the past couple of days have caused stress and anxiety to impacted residents, especially to senior citizens who've been living in the town for 40 plus years and cannot financially afford the repairs. I got a call yesterday from a neighbor. She's 80 plus. She told me that her husband is 91 and is like sick in bed, and she's been crying for the past 4 days. She said that God answered her prayer. She doesn't know, like she got an inspector coming in, a contractor coming into the house, probably saw an old lady and saw the opportunity to make some money. He quoted her $20,000. I don't know where she will find $20, so she's freaking out. I'm asking the council to do the right thing and cancel those reports and find a humane and equitable process to deal with slabs issues in the town. And thank you to Councilman Cole, Councilman Seth, and the mayor for actually responding and replying and talking to residents. Thank you.
Marcia Peterson, 16 Franklin Place. We are residents for 52 years, and I'm not here to use the senior card. I'm here out of concern for my fellow residents. On Sunday, April 20th, arriving home, saw the sidewalk inspector walking past. We had a brief conversation, catching up on typical neighborly chit-chat with someone you hadn't seen in a long time. Carrying a notepad, she shared that she was making a list of homes that had dangerous sidewalks. I pointed to my 2 slabs by the tree, saying, yes, we're aware and we're going to take care of this very soon.
Marcia, can I interrupt you? When you say sidewalk inspector, was it the borough employee?
No.
Oh,
The-
understood.
The person who has initiated all of this. So we were going to take care of our slabs because for our own family's sake and our neighbors. So 17 days later, on May 7th, I was not surprised to receive our violation notice. Upon speaking to the DPW representative, I was surprised to be in violation of 8 slabs. He demonstrated, not high heels, how if your toe touches the slab, it fits the violation code. Later, my surprise turned to anger, not for me, but for my dear neighbor with 3 children. He was issued 22 slabs. One side, I had neighbor with 2, I have 8, he has 22. Glen Rock, a town to come home to, had been a place where if you saw sidewalks marked, you'd say, oh goodness, look who's moving. Now Glen Rock, a town to come home to, is when one sees sidewalks marked, who turned them in? This is not the town that we love and we've been very involved with. And tomorrow morning, don't do it tonight, it's dark. Tomorrow morning, look at your slabs. This would cause you to be charged with a violation. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for giving me the opportunity. My name is Joan Geezy Hughes. I live at 51 Chadwick Place. I live there with my sister. We are both seniors, and my sister is blind. Safety is definitely a priority for us, and I know for everybody in the town. I know you are aware that 27 or 28 residents on 5 different streets who received this violation. We personally were cited for 21 slabs. I request that these violation notices be rescinded until this matter can be investigated and properly and equitably be resolved. I was very confused when I received the violation notice in my mail along with a copy of an email written by Paula Royak, a sales associate for Terry O'Connor Realty, in my mailbox. First, I thought she was hired by the town. I knew nothing about this. I tried to call the mayor's office, I tried to call DPW. I was not able to speak to anybody. So I had no idea of what to do next, and I called this person. And I left her a message, and she called me back. And I said to her, I asked her if she was the one who had initiated checking our neighborhood streets, and I had received a violation. She said yes, she did. And she said she was concerned. She wanted to be able to safely walk her dog and to walk to the county park. And she said she was being a good Samaritan. So I asked her, I've since been informed that she does not have a dog. I have no idea about that. But I do live on Chadwick Place. It dead ends. You can go right down there. I did bring a map. If you guys are not familiar with the streets, I'd be happy to share it with you. It was the one that was in the borough calendar. So I said to her, why, if you had a concern about my property, my sidewalks, why didn't you come to me and talk to me? And she said, well, there were too many of you. It would have taken me too long. What if you were not home? Then I would have had to have gone back. She also asked me if I had a doorbell, a Ring camera, and I told her I did not, but that I said to her that obviously I am concerned with safety. We had a dog. We would walk the dog in our neighborhood. The house that she lives on, because I Googled her, I could easily see where she lives, is almost half a mile away from my house. To get to my street, you have to walk on 6 different streets to get to my street. I did walk the neighborhood, and I did not understand why some houses were picked and others were not. I didn't understand the criteria or what enabled her to make this decision.
Joan, I just
Yes.
want to let you've hit your 3 minutes. I'm going to let you go for another minute.
Oh, okay.
But be aware that we can't answer for why an individual would have turned people in.
I'm not asking you to answer the why, but I'm saying that I think we need to look at whatever, the notice of violation listed in ordinance, which only states sidewalks must be maintained by the property owner. That was the ordinance that was on this. It did not cite an ordinance which gives the requirements for maintenance. Violation should have been signed by a municipal official who is qualified to do an inspection and should list the issues that the inspection revealed. Mine only had initials on it. I had no idea who this person was, what their certification or qualifications is. There was also no opportunity to challenge or question this. It did not set forth the opportunity to contest the findings. The manner that this was handled was very problematic. What is the true motive for this person? This opens the door for others to do the same, and especially if it can be done anonymously. When I called to ask the DPW, and I spoke to Kathy, I believe is her name, very nice, but she said, this is anonymous. I hope that the mayor and the council, I appreciate your time, and that you can look into this and make an informed decision. I love Glen Rock. I just celebrated my 50th reunion from Glen Rock High School. And of course, we want things to be safe, but we also feel that it should be equitable and fair. If they were concerned about the safety of those streets, why were not every single house looked at? Why was this person allowed to choose which houses were looked at? Do you guys need the map of the streets?
I know the area very well.
Okay.
But thank you, and when you come to the next meeting.
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind, in between now and then, if you could scan or send me a copy of your violation, and I need to also address, if you called me, I don't work at Borough Hall, I work outside of town full-time.
I know. That's what I was wondering. Is it better before the meeting, should I email you?
Email is
my
always the best way
information?
to get in touch with me.
Okay. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
And we're hoping that we can resolve this.
I don't mean to rush you, but if there's others that want to speak, I think it's important.
My name's Julia, Chadwick Place. I have never been to a council meeting. I've never attended one. Today is 18 years that we've moved into town. And I was one of the residents that got the violation as well. I'm not going to spend the 3 minutes echoing the points that everybody just made. What I wanted to bring up is that the process of how this was handled by whoever at the DPW was deplorable. This person needs to be held accountable.
You know what? We want everyone to be heard, so let's not clap. We're going to just be, I feel like I'm a mom, and we just need to just let her speak and don't interrupt.
So again, I don't want to echo and repeat what everybody said. I got my slabs, my neighbor got no slabs. I want to focus on whoever at the DPW runs a show there handled this very, very poorly. We felt attacked. This came out of nowhere. I sit and work from home. All of a sudden, I'm looking out the window. Some guy from the DPW is dropping off a pink slip in my mailbox, and I have no idea what's going on. The process was just really poor, really, really poorly held, and they need to be held accountable for the way that they handle this. I don't know if they report to you guys. I don't know who they work for. I don't know if there's a manager or a supervisor. But whoever said, yep, I got this email and these 20 houses or whatever attack, you guys go out there and give them their little pink slips, that person needs to be held accountable for how they made their choices.
Good evening. Maureen Coughlin, 54 Abington. Regarding the plastic straws ordinance, I think when it was first introduced a couple of months ago, one of the councilwomen had said that 8 of the 9 businesses were already complying. So I think in these trying times, I applaud saving the planet. I'm all for it. But I think not only are residents struggling, but so are businesses. And I think we should be doing more to try and bring traffic to Rock Road. And we had 2 businesses closing recently, and I just think our focus needs to be directed toward generating business and helping small business owners. So just wanted to say that. Thank you.
And can I just respond for a second? I want to also reiterate the fact that this ordinance does not in any way, shape, or form penalize or impose any hardships on our businesses. But point well taken.
Hi, Rich Peterson again, 16 Franklin Place. I'm going to go into all the procedures as opposed to talking about the problem. If you look at our slabs in front of our house, the newest ones that were put in, I don't know how many years ago, we've been here in town for 52 years now, they're the ones that are getting pushed up by this tree. So I'm just trying to think outside the box. Would it be appropriate, instead of having these heavy slabs and everything else, to have macadam sidewalks instead? And those could be repaired much easier and less expensively. Probably in pulling up a small section and chopping out the tree roots, et cetera, and putting macadam might be a better way to do it. Just thinking outside the box. And the other thing is that we'll be changing our estate plan to make sure that when we die or sell the house, that Paula Royak will not be the real estate agent.
Hi, Linda Brennan, 505 Doremus Avenue. Rob was going to touch on it before, but Lenora, again, thank you for your service, especially being helping us out with the dog park throughout the years. Thank you very much. Can you explain tonight the process of her replacement and where that's at, and if not tonight, when that will be detailed to the public? Thank you.
That's your only question, Linda?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. An advertisement has gone out in multiple, it's hard, it's a weird thing to say, like, where you would, where a borough administrator or a CFO would look for employment, that's where it was published. It was published on the New Jersey League of Municipalities website, and I'm sure a couple other places. The due date for resumes and salaries are May 19th. So they will be accepting applications until then, and then at that time, there'll be a smaller committee that will meet, interview, and I want Lenore to definitely be part of that process and picking her replacement. But that's where it stands right now.
I'm sorry, you said they? Who's the first they?
We usually have a committee. We don't meet, the council in totality will not, participate because of quorum issues, but we will have a smaller subgroup of a hiring committee along with Lenora, and they will review the applications which they receive by the deadline of the 19th, and then from there, I guess they will make interview appointments, and then hopefully within the next couple months, we'll have her replacement selected.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Oleg Ledinov. We live in 52 Andover Terrace. So first, before we get to the slabs, I wanted to say thank you and appreciate the mayor and the council for acknowledging the atrocities of October 7th in Israel. But now to the slabs. So I agree with everybody who spoke here before, and the process how the selection was done is, I cannot understand why and how this should be equitable to the entire town or none at all. And second, I'm not sure what can we do, because these trees, the majority, vast majority of the slabs that need to be fixed are like that because the tree roots grow. Trees grow, and these are the trees next to the roads. So if we look at this tree, half of the roots are under the asphalt. They don't get any water there, so the tree only gets some nutrition from the lawn. And if we somehow damage the roots that go to the lawn, the tree will keep no roots at all. It will fall on our houses. So the only way to actually fix this, unless we move to macadam maybe, is to cut the trees. But Glen Rock is a beautiful town, and we love the trees. We don't want to cut these trees. So I'm not sure I see the way out of it. So if we can get some advice on like what are our options besides cutting the trees. Thank you.
Yes, Amy, go ahead.
I just wanted to make one quick comment because we do have some members of the Shade Tree Advisory here. This whole sidewalk, before this sidewalk gate happened, the Shade Tree Committee has been reviewing sidewalks and trees on them, so they are going to be making recommendations. We've been discussing it, and certainly we will find resolutions so we don't have to cut the trees down. But yes, it's being looked into.
Elena Berenbaum, 16 Harold Drive. In the interest of avoiding redundancy, I will second every single speaker. Certainly, my concern was the tree that I have that is causing our specific problem, with one slab to be indicated currently to be replaced and 6 fixed. That one tree I would absolutely hate to see to be taken down. So I absolutely agree with the gentleman that said that there needs to be an optimal solution to both preserving the trees and keeping our sidewalks safe. And I hope that we find a very reasonable and not a costly solution that is looking to ruin a whole bunch of families in our neighborhood. So I'm just here to express our opinion for my family. Also my husband's cousin's family, who have basically delegated this to me tonight. They live across the street at 17 Harold Drive. That's the Browder family. And again, I think these costs are prohibitive. I think that the selective nature of this request is also, seems to me, extremely unfair and sporadic and not organized and applied as a system. I would much like to see a more logical and uniform solution to this. That's it. Thank you.
Seeing and hearing no one, oh, sorry. Seeing and hearing no one, may I please have a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
And a second? Second. Thank you. I want to thank everyone that came out tonight and for sharing your Your stories, I'm not going to use language like your opinion, but your story is important, and these are things that we need time to review. And like we mentioned in the work session, there will be no action on the borough's end before this next meeting, and the clock will start at the next meeting if that's the way, the direction that we go. So if you are watching at home on Glen Rock TV and you are not here tonight and you received a notice of violation, just know that we are going to be discussing it at our next work session. It will be the first item on the agenda, and I will do my best to hopefully be able to avoid having multiple things to discuss that night, so you can get the time and the attention, and so you can feel heard, and we can make moves to adapt and reconfigure what the process is going forward. And with that, may I please have a motion to adjourn this public meeting and return into closed session to discuss personnel?
You did say that we granted them a grace period. You
Yes,
said-
I
yeah.
did mention that already, thank you. Can I have a motion to go and adjourn back into closed session?
I'll make the motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.